Om Shanti. Today Baba is talking about bondages and becoming free from bondage. Now at the outset, I want to talk about this idea of freedom and idea of bondage. Because I think our idea of everything has shifted quite a bit because of Ravan. And the other day, I was talking to somebody and giving them a description of Satyug. And I was telling them about that world of peace and happiness, where everything is in order and there's no chaos and there's beauty and harmony. And then after giving the description, I asked that person, so how do you feel about Satyug? And he said, I feel quite robotic. I don't know, I don't understand Satyug, and I feel like there is no sorrow, there is no chaos, there is no problem. I don't know whether I would be able to survive in such a world. so, our idea of things and our relationship with vices and sorrow is quite complicated right now. And although we say, I want peace, I want happiness, I don't know whether we understand and appreciate peace and happiness enough. And only if we understand and appreciate peace and happiness would we genuinely work towards it. Because when we say happiness, it is usually pleasure, momentary pleasure. We don't understand permanent happiness, or we don't understand what is really deep peace of the mind. We only understand some moments of quiet and silence. So having given this foundation of how complicated our relationship with, peace, happiness, and vices and sorrow and all is, I also want to talk about bondage and freedom. So these days, people talk a lot about freedom, and the idea of freedom is freedom to pursue vices or freedom to indulge in vices. So when people say that I'm free, so there are many people who you meet, and when you ask them whether they are in bondage or in freedom, they will say, I'm quite free, so I can do whatever I want, go wherever I want. But then they're not free to practice purity. They're not free to meditate. They are not free. So they are under the bondage of their own sanskars. Their own mind is captivating them, and they don't even realize that. And they say, we have everything, we are free to do everything, and yet there is no peace. So what are you talking about when you say you're free? If you're not even able to have one moment of peace, and you are bound so much by your sanskars and vikarma that your own self doesn't allow you moments of peace and happiness. So these are questions we need to understand. So when we say bondage and when we say freedom, we need to first understand, we need to, I think, revisit our idea of bondage and freedom. And sometimes, people would say that Brahma Kumaris, especially the surrendered sisters, they have a life of bondage. And, you have to be disciplined, you have to wear a certain kind of clothes, and I I'm really appalled at that statement, because if you are wearing a certain kind of clothes, that's not bondage. That's a choice of, or if you're following a certain lifestyle or a discipline, or you're eating a certain kind of food, that's a choice which emerges out of your understanding of how beneficial that is. And it's not externally imposed. It is uh, it is self-imposed, because we've understood the importance of purity, the importance of a pure lifestyle, pure food and everything, importance of discipline, a timetable. So that's a self-imposed discipline that we are following, and it's not bondage. So this is not bondage. What is bondage is when your own mind, your own sanskars do not allow you to practice that which makes you feel pure, peaceful, blissful, happy, powerful. So, your own belief systems, your own karmic accounts, they don't allow you uh, to practice thought, word, and action, which gives you a feeling of purity, peace, happiness, bliss, power. Or you want to be loveful, you want to be sweet, you want to be virtuous, but then your sanskars don't allow you that kind of freedom. So that is bondage. So first, we need to understand our condition. So you see that in medicine, when somebody is unwell, the most difficult part is the diagnosis, and also the realization of how deep your disease is, or how much of treatment, how urgent the treatment is. So, and usually a patient doesn't understand the intensity of the disease, or doesn't understand the urgent requirement of the treatment. And it's the doctor who understands it, and it's a task to bring the patient to understand that. And even in this unlimited space, in the spiritual realm, Baba understands how deep we are in bondage. And we souls are living with this frivolous idea of freedom, and we don't even appreciate how much in bondage are we, or how intense is our disease, and how much we are suffering because of that. And so Baba gives us the idea of bondage, and Baba tells us to evaluate and check how bonded we are. And also then Baba gives us the remedy to come out of that bondage. Now, we need to understand that even to understand Baba, we need to listen to Baba for a long, long time. And this is why our relationship with Baba and the Murli, and so in my understanding in this journey, effort comes much later. So, we don't make effort right way, because we don't understand the importance of that effort. Even if it is about Amrit Vela, okay, waking up, sitting is okay, but, remembering Baba with that love and understanding what Baba's light and might is doing to you comes much later. But what I feel is the first thing, the beginning of this whole spiritual process begins with this relationship with Baba, where, through the Murli, through moments of silence, or some, even if it's a broken practice, it's not continuous, it's not very intense, still, whatever small baby steps we take, these steps contribute to our alignment with Baba. And we slowly start aligning our consciousness with Baba's consciousness. And with that alignment, slowly there is a there is a resurgence of that understanding and that appreciation of Baba's teachings. And then we draw in the power also to make the effort, and we start making the effort. So it's a long process, but Baba right away from the very beginning, Baba starts telling us all that there is to know. So, and once I was, when I was very new in Gyan, I did not understand the paradox, the apparent paradox between, effort and drama. So I always felt that if you have to make an effort, why is the drama predestined? And if everything is predestined, then why effort? So I could not understand this. And then there was this brother, and he explained things to me. And then I told him, so why can't Baba be a little slow? Like we could understand this bit 2 years down the line or 3 years down the line. Why does he have to drop everything like a bomb, in 7 days, and you are able to understand only 1% or 0.5% of everything, and then most of it confuses you. So why could Baba just get slow? You could give the course over a period of 2 years, 3 years, or you could just give 1 point for 1 year, which is you are a soul, and that would be enough. So then he told me that, you people, so we children, we underestimate ourselves, but Baba is Trikaldarshi, and he has faith that all his children are master Trikaldarshi. So he looks at you very highly and very greatly, and that's why he doesn't feel he's throwing a bomb. He feels like he's telling you something that you have the right to know and that you should know. And he has faith that you will gulp it down. So then I felt that really Baba has so much faith in us children that from the first day he starts giving us everything. So he doesn't say this Murli is for new children, this Murli is for 10-year-olds, this Murli is for 20-year-olds. You come and right away you listen to the whole Murli. So in the Murli today, Baba is giving us the method to break the bondages. So I think we will appreciate the method only when we realize how much in bondage we are. And we need time to think about, so apparently we are all free, and this is why Maya is called illusion. So, Ravan, Maya has created an illusion where we are completely in bondage and we think we are absolutely free. So we need to understand how much our mind is in bondage, how much choice we have over the kind of words we want to speak, how much choice we have about performing pure actions. And if we see all day, we think that we pretty much do everything by choice. So, people say that I was bitter and rude out of choice. But then how big a bondage is it to even not be able to choose that which makes you earn blessings? So, our buddhi is so much in bondage that we don't even understand that I don't have to choose the opposite of blessings. I need to choose thought, words, and actions that make me earn blessings, make me earn good wishes. So we need to understand all these things, because right now we don't choose rightly, and we don't even understand that this is a bondage of the buddhi, that we choose that which makes us earn the opposite of blessings. Yes, or we make choices to perform karma under the influence of vices. So Baba says this is the state of bondage. And what is the sign of a slave? So there are two signs of a slave. There are two signs of bondage. One is no choice, and second is sorrow. And every person in the world today, if you look at everybody, they are suffering from these two problems. No choice. So we want to feel peaceful and we can't. We want to speak sweetly, we can't. We want to not be stressed and worried, but we can't. We want to perform actions according to Srimad, we can't. All this is a sign of a slave, a sign of bondage. And the second thing is sorrow. So if I'm self-sovereign, if I am a ruler, if I'm not a slave, I would choose happiness. But so everybody in the world says happiness is very, we are not happy, or happiness is very difficult to achieve because we are in bondage. So first things we need to appreciate or understand how much in bondage we are. And then Baba tells us the method to free us from bondages. And what is the method? So Baba says, sweet children, the more you serve the yajna with a lot of love, the more income you will have. By serving, you become free from bondage and your income accumulates. So there is a karmic credit, karmic debit, and because we have had 63 births of vicious births, so operating under vices, we have a debit, huge debit, karmic debit. So we are kind of into big debt. So there is a big loan on our heads. And so generally, how do you repay a loan in the world? So when somebody has a big loan on the head, they feel very heavy. And when the time for repayment comes, what they do is they take another loan and repay it. Yes. And then the burden on the head is bigger and bigger. But if we want to finish the loan, it requires hard work. It requires accumulating income. And Baba says, serving the yajna with a lot of love helps you accumulate that income. And do I have the sense and sensibility to gauge how much I am in debt and how much I have to plan and execute the plan to earn an income, karmic income, which will help me settle the debt and also have some, credit to myself. So if I'm able to understand that, then I would adopt this method of serving the yajna with love. Now, I also want to talk about the difference between karmic bondage and seva. So, sometimes when we ask students whether they are doing seva, they say that, yes, we are serving our family members. Yes, but let me tell you that seva, the biggest sign of seva is it is done out of choice. So in the world, we are mostly in situations where we don't have choice. So taking care of family members is not optional, is it? Or going to office is not optional. Or doing your work is not optional. But then what is optional is how you do it. Okay, so that is optional. So that's one area where you can exercise your choice and introduce the element of being knowledgeful, peaceful, loveful, blissful, powerful, and do that. But also here today, Baba is not talking about that. Baba is talking about Yajna Seva. And what is Yajna Seva? So the purpose of this whole Yajna is to bring every child of Baba close to Baba. So it's about, and I tell you sometimes, we give bits and pieces of knowledge. Okay, so I will just tell you one thing. Yesterday I met one brother and he told me that he has been listening to BK classes for some time, but he doesn't understand Shiv Baba. He doesn't have any relationship with Shiv Baba, but he understands some things like forgive, forget, don't keep anything in your heart. So, the past grievances, the past regrets have to be left, and this and that. And then he's very successful on his business front right now. And then I asked him one question. So, okay, so you are able to forget the past. You are able to not hold grudges against whatever happened with you in the past. But do you think that your external achievement today is a factor in making you forget that? So do you think that because you are, worldly successful at this time, that is why you feel that you can put everything behind and then you have kind of given an answer to whoever wronged you and this and that, and they see that you are professionally successful, so you've made your mark and you've made your statement and this and that. And then I said, now that you're asking me, I feel yes. So I said, then you see that you have not forgotten your past. You have compensated those feelings with these feelings of achievement. But the thing is, tomorrow, maybe the world situation will not be the way it is today. And maybe there is a downslide. And then what do you have? Then all those things that you think you've forgotten, they're just lurking behind and everything will come up again. So what we need to understand is we have to connect to the source. And without the source that is Baba, we might think that, we have understood something, imbibed something, but that is a painkiller. So, there are painkillers which last for different durations in the world also. So when you have physical pain, there is one painkiller which can relieve you for 2 minutes. There are other painkillers which can give you relief for 1 day. And there are some painkillers which can relieve you of pain for 3 months at a time. So you get those injections and no pain for 3 months and you feel you're doing very well. And they are a bit costly, but then after the 3 months, you realize that, okay, the pain is back. Similarly, everything else apart from knowledge. So apart from, this relationship with Baba, everything is a temporary painkiller. And although we might feel that, okay, I have imbibed this point of knowledge or this or that, but until and unless you come to that place where you know you are a soul and your whole world is Baba, and you're completely, you live in the world, but you're above this world, then everything else you're practicing is a temporary painkiller. So Baba also today tells us that when the first thing we need to understand is our relationship with Baba and our realization that I am a soul. And Baba says that this is the service you have to do. So when Yajna Seva when we say Yajna Seva, what is Yajna Seva? This whole Yajna is created to bring souls in relationship with Baba. And anything and everything that is done to bring souls closer to Baba is Yajna Seva. So, and what happens in the centers is all day this Seva is being done, right? So, this Yajna Seva, that whenever a soul comes, introducing them to their own self, introducing them to their parent, and teaching them how to draw light and might from Baba is being done. And that is Yajna Seva. And there are, and it's not just one sister you see talking about Baba, which is the Yajna. So there is a whole lot of activity going behind this. Yes. So there is cleaning, cooking, shifting tables, this, that, financial contribution, everything is there. So there is a whole machinery working behind this task of bringing souls closer to Baba. That is Yajna Seva. And we need to do Yajna Seva. And when you do Yajna Seva, that makes you clear your karmic bondages, and it makes you accumulate spiritual income. So Yajna Seva can be done in many ways. So, it is done through the mind, it is done through words, it is done through money, it is done through, cooperation, it is done through contribution of some skill that it is done through giving your time and labor. So everything is a part of Yajna Seva. Now, when you do Yajna Seva, that's the only method to clear yourself of karmic bondages and also help you earn a spiritual income. So Baba has told us, so first thing, we sit and think about how much deeply in bondage we are. Otherwise, without estimating the strength, the intensity of the illness, we will not be interested in the healing. So first thing is realizing what bondage there is. And then second thing is evaluating how much of Yajna Seva I'm doing and how much Yajna Seva can I do. And then increasing your Yajna Seva, because that's the only way to accumulate an income. And then today, Baba talks about many qualifications. But before I talk about that, I will talk about what Baba tells about, this relationship with Shiv Baba. So Baba says today, first of all, give the Father's introduction. The Father is the creator of heaven. Do you know him? What is your relationship with the Supreme Father, the Supreme Soul? Give them that recognition so that they are able to forge their love with the Father. So the most important thing is the love that was there between souls and Baba, which is now severed. We have to forge it back. And ask yourself, the day you came to Baba, did you feel close to Baba? No, but now slowly, gradually, that love is being forged, correct? Yes. And when that, so do you think that with every passing day, you feel deeper love for Baba? How many feel that? The relationship is getting stronger. And, you know, just like in the physical world, there is no substitute for a physical parent. So you look at somebody who is an orphan, and you look at somebody who has physical parents, the way in which they are sustained physically will greatly vary. Similarly, knowing the spiritual parent and having a relationship with Baba can only make you spiritually fulfilled. You know, you cannot feel that you belong to the ocean of love and peace and knowledge and happiness without this genuine relationship with Baba. And Baba says that it's your duty. So this is the seva that has to be done. And Baba says that the Father says, I come at the confluence age of the cycle and change hell into heaven. And Baba is giving us everything that differentiates hell from that differentiates heaven from hell. But in order to take that, we need to have a relationship with Baba. So Yajna Seva means being a direct or an indirect instrument in bringing souls closer to Baba and making their relationship with Baba stronger and stronger so that they can take their inheritance from Baba. And then Baba talks about the qualities that we need to do Yajna Seva. So Baba says today, at the time of serving, you should not have thoughts of wanting to rest. Yes. The more service you do, the more happiness you will have. So those who think about rest cannot do Yajna Seva. Yes, because Yajna Seva is not done, out of discretion. Like you don't have discretion that I want to serve from 10 to 12 and not earlier and later. So what if somebody comes to the center at 12:30? Do you ask them to go away? So Baba says, and just think about if you have this idea, so that I want to take rest from 12:30 to 1:30. And then somebody comes at 12:30 and you give them such an unwelcoming look and vibration that instead of feeling close to Baba, they feel like they came at the wrong time and they are not able to settle down because you gave them that feeling. So Baba says, you cannot. So first thing is, when you are a Yajna Sevadhari, you don't think about rest. Okay. Second thing is, be honest and serve with a lot of love. So there has to be honesty in Seva. What is honesty in Seva? Honesty means purity of intent. So there is no trace of ego, selfishness, greed. There is no trace of body consciousness. So that kind of purity you need for Seva. And then Seva has to be done with a lot of love. Because when you have love for Baba, only then will you be able to fill the hearts of others with Baba's love. And then Baba says, along with serving also becomes sweet. What is sweetness? So, you know, many times brothers and sisters ask this question, what is sweetness? What is meethapan? Baba always says, meethe bacche. So what is sweetness? So what I have felt is, when you have all qualities, then you become sweet. when you have everything, from purity to patience to tolerance to soul consciousness to a generous heart, when you have all qualities, then what emerges is sweetness. And I remember that there was this brother and he wrote a book about Dadi Janki. And he took it to the publisher. He took the book to the publisher. And then the publisher said that you are using this word sweet very often. So, every 2-3 lines, there is this word sweet describing Dadi or her work or her qualities or her actions. And this is too sweet. We don't like sweet. So, you just replace this word with something else. And this will make your book look, better. And then that brother said, we can't replace sweet. Sweet is sweet. And then that whole book was published as it is, because there is no substitute for this word sweet. In Hindi, it is even better. It is meetha. And Baba says, you have to become very meethe. So when you have all qualities, you will become sweet and you will be able to serve everybody and fill their heart with sweetness. And Baba says, you children should not have any weakness, because Baba is creating a world of strength with us. And if there is any weakness inside us, that world of power will not be able to be created through us. So Baba says, these are the qualities of a Yajna Sevadhari. So we need to pay a lot of attention to imbibing these qualities so that we can serve the Yajna with a lot of love. So this is something that Baba tells today. And then there is something that Baba tells about how we need to look at the past. Baba says that you cannot ask, why did this happen? If I hadn't done this, that would not have happened. Do you use this language? Yes, for something that happened 1 minute ago, 1 second ago, to something that happened 10 years ago, we use this language that we do. So if this hadn't happened, this wouldn't have happened. And we all have the knowledge of drama. So anybody who has the knowledge of drama cannot speak these words. So Baba says that you cannot even say this. Whatever happened in the past was fine, but be cautious in future. So whatever happened in the past, you cannot have any question about it. It was predestined. You just have to accept it the way it was. But the most important thing is you should be cautious about it in the future. So when something happened in the past, don't feel guilty, but learn the lesson, because that lesson couldn't have come another way. But don't repeat the same mistake in the future. Be very cautious in the future. So Mama used to say that don't repeat your mistakes. So if you keep making new mistakes, then probably one day your mistakes will also be over. So Baba says that be very cautious about that thing in the future. Make sure that Maya doesn't make you commit any sins. Storms will enter your minds, but you mustn't perform those actions through your physical organs. So Baba says, also because Baba has taught us the art to be self-aware. So do you understand that you are those fortunate souls who are able to discern any thought, any sinful thought that comes in the mind? So people generally realize after committing a sin. But we are those souls who are able to check the sin in the mind, are we not? So we are able to find out whether there is a thought which is sinful. And Baba says the greatest achievement is that if a sinful thought has arisen in the mind, then you're so careful that it doesn't come into action. And this is the way. And how do you stop that thought from coming in the thought also? By remembering Baba with all your heart, with love. And Baba says this is how slowly you finish the capacity to think those thoughts. But until then, you at least save yourself from sinful action. Because when something arises in the mind, it can be finished in the mind. But once it comes into action, then it creates a karmic account, and you cannot finish it just in the mind. Then the karmic settlement comes and you have to settle it in physical world. So Baba says, let it not come to that. Finish your thoughts in the mind itself. Okay. Om Shanti.